A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, part 3. This is in continuation of the other two parts which we have already discussed previously. Continuing with this part, where previously we had discussed that how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam worked on the trench with his companions. Now it's the time of the arrival of the enemy, when actually the enemy came on the spot, and the Prophet ﷺ came to know about that. Arrival of the enemy. Hardly had the trench been completed, it took them 6 days in all, when news came that the army of the Quraysh and the other tribes were approaching Medina. So it was not actually complete in all respects. It was still, work was going on. Still there was a lot of things to be done with regard to the digging of the trench. And then this news came that the enemy of the Quraysh, the army of the Quraysh are approaching. And it took them 6 days in all to reach to the spot. Along with them were the other tribes, and they were approaching towards Medina. The Prophet ﷺ came out with his followers, about 3,000 in all, and he encamped on the chosen site. And then Prophet ﷺ assembled all his followers. So at the time, the followers of the Prophet ﷺ who were ready to fight for Allah, in the cause of Allah, were actually 3,000 in number. And the Prophet ﷺ encamped. That means he camped. He at a chosen site, he encamped his tent. He asked his companions to install his camp at the chosen site, which he had actually chosen for the place, for that purpose. His tent was pitched at the foot. Actually, I think there's a misprint. It is fort. I think it is the foot of the Mount Sal. So it was his tent was actually pitched at the foot of the Mount Sal, with the trench between him and the enemies. And the trench was lying between the Prophet ﷺ and the enemies on the other side, which were actually the Quraysh and their other alliances who had allianced with them to fight against the Prophet ﷺ.